Hey, FlossTube Stitchers. Shelly here at Just Stitching Inc. with my friend Linda.
Good morning.
Who is one of the co-chairs and has been for, what did we think? Like
probably at least 10 years.
Like 10 years?
10 years.
Of the Medina Needlework Guild's Needle Art Show. This was the 38th year. Of course, we had to skip last year because COVID ruined plans. But anyway, I wanted to interview her again because I thought what we did 2 years ago was really informative to the public and also to anyone who might become a member of the guild. So as Linda said, don't be nervous, just two friends talking about stitching.
Stitching.
I've said before, as soon as the camera goes on, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So why were you interested in being a part of like the planning committee for the show all those years ago?
Well, funny story is I got interested in joining the guild by running across the show at the library like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So I had joined the guild, and then the person who was doing it chose not to do it, and the president begged me to do it for the first year as a co-chair.
Oh, I don't think I heard that story.
Yeah, then the second year I was the chairperson, and then it has just snowballed. I found I really liked it. Each year we increased the ideas that we had, and we were able to build up the show, and I found I didn't want to give it up. It was my little niche.
I know.
Plus,
my favorite part was being the judge's helper.
Well,
So, because I felt like
the
that
scribe.
that would enhance me. Is that what you call it, a scribe?
A scribe,
Ooh, big
yes.
word for a Wednesday morning.
It's fancy.
It's her day off. I really, because I thought it would enhance my knowledge as a shop owner and also to give advice to people that were thinking about entering a competition. In fact, I do a technique class. It's an hour.
I attended it,
It-
yes.
It's an hour, and we talk about all the pros and cons and ifs, ands, and buts about entering a show and what people have to think about ahead of time. So that was always my favorite part. But Linda they do a really good job of setting up the show. I love the themes because, that's how I think. I think with themes. And so
We have, every year we have, of course, a Halloween table and a Christmas table, because we get that every year, and usually a spring table. But it's fun to kind of group the things, like we had a patriotic table this year.
Yeah, that was
which
fun.
was kind of fun. And we try to keep a little bit of consistency and groupings.
Well,
So
and you
it
want to
makes
mix.
sense.
You want to mix things up. You don't want to have all the cross stitch together and then all the knitting together
Correct.
because, first of all, it's not as interesting, and secondly, people that aren't into knitting might not even look at it. And you want people to look at every single piece that's entered.
We
You want everybody
do.
to get their due respect for making the item in the first place, and then being bold enough to enter it. This is your info on the statistics of the show.
We had a wonderful turnout this year. I was very nervous because of COVID. I didn't know if people were going to choose to come or not.
And skipping a year, sometimes you lose
We
momentum
lost
with
our
anything.
momentum. We ended up, though, with 112 entries, 90 of which people chose to have those judged,
Yay.
which is really a leap of faith because
Yes.
judging can be kind of harsh sometimes. You have to have a little bit of a thick skin
Yes.
because, sometimes they might say something that you don't agree with or
Right.
whatever. But yeah, 90 judged entries. We ended up with 15 of our members putting in pieces, and what I'm very excited about,
This
31 non-members.
That floors me.
Entered.
That floors me
So-
because having not been a member for a while now, some of the names I recognized and some of them I didn't, and so I wasn't sure. And I thought maybe because of COVID and skipping a year, maybe the entries would all be from members. So 31, more than twice the number of members were from the general community.
Well, I have to give a shout out of thanks to Fran Hansen, who does the publicity for our show.
okay.
She made sure that it was in all the community papers
Oh, excellent.
at least twice, and she contacted Sam Boyer, who writes for the Sun Times, I
Okay.
believe, and she came in and actually took pictures. And we had, again, very excited, 5 inquiries as to joining the guild.
Oh, yay! That's
From non-members.
That's really
So
good.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
good
really
it's a good way to promote our guild and really just to show off in the talent in our community.
Yeah. Okay, and I wanted to show. I'll put a picture of this too. But they do a really nice program, and they say something about the guild. And 1977, we were trying to remember how long it had been in existence. And so there's information about the guild and about the judges they used. And then there's a list of all the
entries.
all the entries and what they had in case you wanted to look something up later, like me, for the photos. And then, of course, there's a couple pages of
We had
ads
7
from local
sponsors this year.
7 sponsors.
7
Yeah,
sponsors.
that's great.
So that
yeah.
was really good.
We wanted to talk about the judging form because Linda's sensitive to how something should be judged, and we have our ideas from the past and from things that we've read in previous experience. And I think it's ideal when a piece is judged against its own merit.
Yes.
Not like you have 3 pieces and one's going to get a first, second, and third. Like that doesn't seem necessarily fair. There could be a category where you could have all second place and one really didn't stand out as being a first place.
Correct.
So she's always tweaking the judging form. And so tell me what your thoughts are behind tweaking it, because you kind of fix something every year based on experience.
We try.
Yeah.
We try. After the 2019 show, I met with the judges for lunch, and we discussed trying to do the judging categories a little bit easier for them. She felt that my judging sheets were more a critique sheet rather than a judging sheet. The ones I had
okay,
used
that's
in
a good point.
2019.
Okay.
So I went online, I spoke with the judges, I went online, I looked at the Toledo art show, I looked at the Stan Hewitt, and we took parts from all of theirs to try to make a little bit more of an easier way for our scribes and for our judges. We ended up with 5 categories: workmanship, suitability of materials, color and balance, finishing, and overall presentation, and weighed them according to what the judges felt was important, with,
Okay.
of course, workmanship and technique being the heaviest. So
Okay.
out of 100 points, the judges can choose how many points they would like to assign to that piece, and there's room for additional comments.
And the workmanship is, I don't know if they could see that, but the workmanship is 50 points.
Right, it's half your
And
score.
overall visual appearance and presentation is 20, and the other 3 categories are 10. So that's what you meant by weighted. Yeah.
What I found interesting was color and balance in speaking with the judges. If you're doing a kit, the
Yeah.
colors are assigned. However, the judge did say if something looks non-complimentary or garish,
Yeah, yours-
or it doesn't, you are
You
obligated.
have some responsibility as
right.
the stitcher to.
Correct. You don't
Yeah.
have to use. Those are just suggestions that the
Right.
designer made. So even though the kit tells you or the pattern tells you, you can always change.
Right.
So I
And
thought that was an interesting point.
I know at previous shows or fairs or whatever, people have said, oh, they really, they said my framing was overdone or inappropriate or whatever, and then they didn't get a ribbon, and they think, did I not get a ribbon because of my stitching? Or did I not get a ribbon because they didn't like my framing? Because that's not exactly fair. So this way, the overall presentation, that could be where they put something about, well, the framing was a little overdone, but it's not going to affect your ribbon necessarily.
So, yeah, your framing is important
there's
also.
There's always going to be some form of
There's always a personal bias.
Personal bias, no matter how, so the cleaner and easier we can make the form, then the easier it is for the
Correct.
judges to not go by their head or not go by their heart. There was some talk afterwards about why this little 5x7 piece got a first place ribbon when some bigger pieces that had more stitching in them did not get as high. And so we're like, okay, it's not about the size of the piece, because then no small pieces would
Right,
ever get a ribbon.
right.
And there are different size, like do you kind of separate them by size as
Well,
well? a
you
little
and
bit?
I
Okay.
talked about
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
last year.
If
and-
there's a lot of pieces, it might be helpful.
But I
Yeah.
did take your suggestion on that, and this was the first year that we actually sorted our pieces. Aida was by itself, and linen, and then
Okay.
the linen was broken down in 28 and
Okay.
32 or 36
Okay.
or whatever.
Okay.
So even though they're not judged against each other, the judges could look and say, these were the Aida pieces, and they could get an overall view of, well, this Aida piece sticks out more than this
Okay.
one, but you're not
Gotcha.
comparing it to this linen piece over here.
Right.
But they were judged
Right.
on their own, but it's nice to categorize also. Do a
Right.
judge's choice for a needlepoint and a judge's choice for a non-needlepoint, which would lump all of the crocheting, wool applique, knitting, so forth. So we do award 2 judge's choice ribbons also in
Right.
those categories.
Yeah.
Do you know what I always like is the viewer's choice. All of the
Oh, yeah,
people
yeah.
who walk through, we give them a little ballot, and they can choose from a piece, whether it's judged or just displayed, which they like the
Oh,
best.
they can. Oh, it doesn't
Any
have to be a
piece.
judge piece.
Doesn't
Oh,
have to be a
good.
judge
Oh, yeah.
piece.
Oh, yeah.
Any
Because the
piece.
audience might not even
Exactly.
know that. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Even though we put a dot on non-judged
Oh,
pieces.
that's what that meant. Okay.
Yes. But
Okay. Now I
it's
get it.
always interesting to see what the public likes.
So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the slideshow or did enjoy it. Let's see. Am I going to put this at the beginning or the end? Oh my gosh, I don't know. But anyway, enjoy the slides. And again, this is Medina Needlework Guild in Medina County, Ohio. That's what we're talking about here. I guess that's about it.
Yeah,
We need
that's
to
it.
both move on with our days here. And thanks for your time on your day off to come in and do this.
Well,
and
thank you. Shelly,
Yeah.
you've been so supportive of our show, both as a sponsor and putting entries in. So it's really nice to have community involvement.
I try to
so,
advertise it to
yeah.
my customers and try to help with delivery and pickup if they can't do it for some reason, because we don't want them to have any excuses for not
Exactly.
for not entering.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But it's
Okay.
fun. In addition to being a good friend, you're a great support.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you.
so much. And she's a good customer too.
Yes, you're my
Okay.
supplier.
Oh gosh, yeah. We won't say what other names I have, like
Yes.
dealer.
Yes, yes.
Supplier. Oh gosh, it's
So.
crazy. So
It's good. It's a
Okay.
good addiction.
All right. Well, thanks for watching,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's see how well you were paying attention to the slideshow. Did you see this happen? This is my Be Joyful from Country Cottage Needleworks, and I stitched it with 2 strands of mostly classic colorworks, I think, on 32 count linen. And I wanted to read you what the judge said. Nicely finished was one of her comments, and then using clear hues on antique linen creates joy. I just thought that was really sweet and very unexpected. And then this also happened. This is B by Rovaris, and I stitched it with 2 strands of silk, I think it was Splendor, on raw Belfast that has the gold flecks running through it. And the judge said for this one, very crisp, excellent tension and coverage with threads, and then something about the deep values of the thread matching the framing. It wasn't worded quite like that, but we think that's what that means. And I got 100 out of 100 points on both of them, so that was kind of a surprise and was really nice to see. you know that I don't enter for the ribbons. For this show, I enter mainly because I was a member for many years. I belonged to a stitch group that was an offshoot of the guild. I taught classes for them. I took classes from other members. I try to support them by advertising the show, putting a flyer in the front window, passing out flyers, advertising on social media, entering my own pieces and paying for the judged portion of the show in a bigger light to show that cross stitch is alive and well and a really fun hobby to participate in. So anyway, it's not shabby to win ribbons, but I've had my share of no ribbons or third place or honorable mention along the way too. So it's not all about the first place. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching all the way through. Bye.